I'm reviewing Warfare. It's a movie released in 2025. It's directed by Alex Garland and Ray Mendoza. It stars an ensemble cast portraying a group of Navy SEALs and a couple of Marines doing a mission in Ramadi, Iraq. This movie depicts real events that the co-director Ray Mendoza had been involved with. There's not much that I can add to the conversation about this movie being very gritty. I don't think there's anything spectacular about it in terms of its technical or even creative execution. It's just the uncompromising approach to authenticity that makes it stand out. Ray Mendoza, during his active duty service as a Navy SEAL, had been one of the cast members of Act of Valor. The Navy had considerable involvement and control. It's essentially a recruiting tool. Warfare, on the other hand, is the opposite of that. There's no way the Navy would use Warfare, the movie, as a recruiting tool. But I will say I can totally imagine real Navy SEAL teams showing this movie to new people. I can also imagine veterans of the GWOT, the Global War on Terror, showing this movie to people in their lives to give them a sense of what they might have experienced. It's more guts than glory. By the time I'd gotten to my seat, the title card came up. So I didn't have a lot of context of the mission. I just knew the general time and place of it. I don't feel that it detracted from my experience because I was really just focused on the next 5 meters, the next 5 minutes, the way that these characters are. They spend the early part of the movie hiding out in this house that they've essentially hijacked from an Iraqi family. There's a saying that our worst fears lie in anticipation. The prevailing emotion becomes the dread of what might happen and what could happen based on what has happened. The Modern Warfare 2019 game has inspired this movie. The name of it, the design of the poster, even some shots, I couldn't help but think, wow, it looks just like the promotional material from Modern Warfare 2019. And I bring up the game because that series as a whole is known for paying homage to famous scenes and events. There's nothing in a war video game that you could say, oh, that's straight from Warfare. There's nothing that happens in this movie that is out of the ordinary. But that doesn't make it any less terrible or devastating. I think this movie being an indie production works in its favor in terms of the thing that it's trying to point out. There's a meta aspect. Warfare is probably not going to be as well known as Saving Private Ryan or something like Black Hawk Down. Despite taking place in contemporary times, it's easier for people to just ignore. This movie is really just the during. There's not too much time spent with the after. I think there are some people who feel that there's no such thing as an anti-war movie. I agree with that sentiment. There's always going to be people who focus more on aspects that are appealing to them, the bravery, the camaraderie, and certainly this movie shows a bit of that, but I can't imagine someone viewing this movie and then not at some point or in some way thinking about the wasteful aspect of war in general. And that's part of what makes it so effective and powerful as a form of expression. Of course, I very strongly recommend watching Warfare at least once. I don't intend to watch it again. I don't really need or want to, but that's maybe the best compliment I can pay to the creators.